right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Happy Tuesday night. And you are watching the Royal We Live. We're going to wait just a couple of moments here, give people some time to jump on while I fine tune some things here. And I'll wait for some of you guys to jump on. All right, there you guys are. Hello, hi Taylor. Welcome to the Royal We Live. Crumsy, how are you? Hi Pia. Hi AW, what's going on? Free to be me. Velia. John, what's up, John? Taylor, how's it going, Taylor? I'm so excited. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for being here, watching, and being a part of the live stream. That's fantastic. Hi, Renee. Selena G, hello, how are you? Robert Thomas, Tanya, hey John, hey Room, what's up, Sophia, hola. And we'll wait just a couple of more minutes here. Hopefully everybody's been having a really good day, a good week so far. It's Tuesday. Tomorrow's Wednesday, which means it's midweek, and it's midweek. Hi, Raquel. Hi, Truly Online. All right, guys. So I'll go ahead and get started. It's 10 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, and this is the time that we start the Royal We Live. I want to thank you guys so much for being a part of the Royal We Live. And for those of you who are watching live on YouTube right now, you can call in at any time during the show. The phone number is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. And there's a couple of good reasons why you should call. Number one, it's good to be able to articulate what's going on in your life when it comes to the narcissistic abuse experience that you've had, how you're healing from it, and where you are right now. It's good to be able to get that out. It's good to be able to articulate it. It's good to be able to allow your voice to speak these things out and just help to cleanse you, right? Especially when we're talking about something that we don't feel a whole lot of people understand. This is a community that understands, and that's why we're here. And then number two, being that it is a community, you're not only healing yourself as you're able to talk about these things, but you're also bringing a lot of healing to a lot of other people as well, right? So it's super important to understand this. If that's your heart to be able to help others, then know that your questions, your comments, your hurts, everything is going to be healing not only for you as you get it out, but healing for other people as well. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and introduce or talk about the moderators. We do have a couple of moderators. I don't know if they are on tonight. I'm going to go ahead and take a call. We got a call from Texas, and I'll put them on hold as I go ahead and go through the intro here. We have a couple of moderators, one moderator for Justice and Truth, and I don't know if she's going to be on tonight, but she is a moderator here. And if you do see her in, she will be there to welcome you. She's been with the Royal We for 6 or 7 months now, and has also just has a heart to help people. Also, Blue is also a moderator as well. So if you see her peek in as well, she will also be there to help you out and to answer questions and things of that sort. And guys, we are also looking for other moderators. So if that's something that you think that you would like to do, is be a moderator on this live stream, send me an email at jointheroyalwe@gmail.com. Again, it's jointheroyalwe@gmail.com, and we'll set up a time to chat and talk about it because it's good to be able to have those moderators. What happens on the show is you have discussions. There's discussions going on in the chat and the forum. It's like you guys have your own thing going on, and then I'm talking on the phone about something completely different with somebody else. So it's good to be able to have that support there. And before I get into the phone call, I just got to put out the warning for you guys. This live stream is 18 plus content. Viewer discretion is advised. We are talking about narcissistic abuse, possibly talking about domestic violence and different intense issues, possibly also some sexually explicit information as well. All right, guys. So now with that stuff out of the way, I want to thank you guys for being here once again. I'm going to go ahead and take our very first phone call from Texas, who's been waiting very patiently. Thank you so much. You're on live on the Royal We. Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm fine, thank you. Yes.
What's going on?
Um, well, I am coming out of a 15-year marriage. I'm 55 years old, and I didn't realize what was going on until after the separation. And so I've been piecing everything together, and it's been a crazy trip.
Mm-hmm.
But one huge thing that has happened to me is um, I actually had a heart attack in not this past October, but the year before that. And then I wound up having triple bypass later.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of it's due to this entire uh, narcissism the covert narcissist that I was married to,
Right.
that I'm still try to battle my way out of. But
Wh-
it's been
where are you
very,
at?
very difficult.
Where are you at with it right now? You said you're still trying to battle your way out. Are you speaking primarily emotional, mental, or are there other issues going on that are keeping you stuck in the relationship?
I've gone no contact, thank goodness. But he keeps every time we have a mediation set, he will postpone that again and again.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're getting close. I'm 100% sure it's going to wind up going to court. And it's just crazy stuff. Just a total disregard to what the truth is.
Right.
Separate property. I mean, it's just crazy,
Right.
and it's just been ridiculous. But I think maybe it'll go to court, but it's just going to cost extra money, and it's
Right.
just he knows. I mean, I have all the proof in the pudding, and have two dimes to rub together when I married him.
Right.
But it's been a painful process, and it's just crazy how it unfolded because during our separation, I would share some of the texts that he would send me with my friends, and one of my friends said, he just doesn't have any empathy. Well, I had no idea. Narcissism was not on my radar. I had no
Mm-hmm.
idea. But I began researching some of the craziness
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and connecting the dots
Right.
and the rage. And it's just, he fits every one of them, not even just, what is it, 5 out of 9? I can't remember what it's supposed to be, but
Right.
there's more than one checkbox there. It's almost all of them.
And
But
15 years is a
it
long
has
time.
been
15 years is a long time to
a
deal with
long
that.
time.
Right. And it's my hope,
Yes.
I don't it doesn't it sounds like you've got this under control. I don't hear that you have any questions or concerns. You're just kind of waiting this out and want to move on. And
Well,
I
my
hope that
my one yeah, my
this situation does move on for you after the court hearing.
well, my one question is too is I still, even though I've listened and I've researched and read books, I still go into this emotional, what I call a fantasy
Mhm.
that that eventually he would get better, and I know none of that's true. And
Right.
so, what are some next steps that I can take? I mean, I've read the books, I'm doing no contact, but I still feel very like, oh my gosh,
Well,
I'm going to be
it's
alone the rest of my life now.
yeah, there's different fears involved, right? There's that I'm going to be alone the rest of my life, which is not true. Okay. I think the biggest thing is letting go of the idea of what we thought we had. So, in your imagination and in your heart, you built this world around this idea of this husband and this life and this house and the white picket fence and the cat and the dog and everything that we kind of were born and raised looking for, what we thought life should be like. And then, boom, narcissistic abuse hits. It hits us upside the face like a giant brick saying wake up. That's not the reality of the world. That's not the guy that you chose to be with, not by a long shot, right? You have none of that stuff.
Right.
There is no house with him. There is no white picket fence. There is no dog, and there's none of that stuff. And so you still want to hang on to that idea, and that's what you're hanging on to, is that idea, because you're not really alone, right? You have a community. There's a community of people here. You can have a community of people
Yes.
at church. You can have family who in the places where you least expect it. So what you're really married to is still that idea. And this guy, unfortunately, was the closest thing that you ever got to that idea. And that's the hardest part. And that's the hardest part because that's what you invested in. And you were told and you were fed this lie growing up that if you do this and you be this kind of wife and you do these things and you do, A, B, C, and D, then your man will treat you like this, this, this. And you come to find out that's not true. You gave yourself, you gave your
No.
body, you gave your time, you gave your energy, you did things you never thought you would ever do. You lowered yourself to do things that you shouldn't have had to have done. And all for what? So he can show you a complete lack
Right.
of empathy, and at the end of the day, skip out, scot free, saying, "Well, I don't really care." And it's hard. It's heartbreaking. So I think it's just allowing all that to sink in. It's a lot to process. It is a lot to process, and so that's just going to take strength and time and community. So being able to talk to people, find family, to fill in to fill in that alone void, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Right. It
All
does.
right. But you are loved.
Hey.
You are loved, and you are beautiful. And like I said, there's family out there for you. It's just not with it's not going to look the way that you had hoped it would,
Right.
right?
Yes. Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks for calling. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
It's very difficult, especially coming out of long-term marriages, 15 years, 10 years, and I've talked to people who have been married for 20 years, 30 years, and have come to this place. And during the whole 20 years or 30 years, they did nothing but invest into this relationship and try and try and try and do things. And it got to the point where they couldn't do it anymore. And wow, what an exhausting, overwhelming feeling. And I'm going to go ahead and take a call from New York. You're live on the Royal We, New York.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I'm um, I'm calling in because I'm very concerned about my daughter. My ex-husband was a borderline, and I was dating a narcissist. And my daughter recently, well, throughout the years, she's been showing signs as a little girl and stuff, but she did something really terrible recently, and she's lacking empathy, and I'm really nervous about how. I mean, she's only 17. I mean, she's 17, but
Okay.
uh, she was expelled from school for catfishing one of her best friends, and she made the girl so traumatized that she actually felt like accomplished or good about it, and it was very eerie.
hmm
I she pretended to be somebody else, and she this thing went on for a while.
Are you?
And
Let me ask you a question real quick. Are you whispering right now?
well, can you hear me?
A little bit. It's coming through very faint, very faint.
Okay, let me go downstairs. Hold on.
Okay, I figured there might be company or something because it's
No, it's just my daughter's home.
okay. Yeah, I'd like to be able to hear you clearly and loudly. That's the only reason I asked.
Okay, yeah. So there was some issues, and she did this terrible thing to this one of her best friends,
Right. Okay.
and the best friend was
Traumatized.
traumatized.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's missing that empathy piece. She just doesn't get it. I talked to her, the school talked to her,
And she
and
doesn't care. Okay.
she just thinks it's a joke.
And let me tell you this first of all. I'm kudos to you. Congratulate. I mean, just it's amazing that you recognize this. That you do not fall into the category of parents who are enablers. Right? Enablers are parents who stand back and don't do anything and maybe laugh it off with them. And that's not you. You recognize the signs right away. No, this is serious. This is a lack of empathy. And there's really, at 17, she's in this teenage years right now. She's going to be rebellious. And what I
Mm-hmm.
would suggest, right, is to set boundaries around yourself and in your home. Okay. And then also be prepared because when the if you cannot talk to her about this and as a parent, if she's not going to listen to you, and I would, I wouldn't give up trying, but I wouldn't do it in a, let's talk and please sort of way. I'd be straight up with her. if you do this, 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 and this, you're going to get in trouble. You're looking at possible jail time. You're looking at getting busted. And if these things don't matter to you, then be my guest and keep going for it. And then as a parent, and this is the most heartbreaking thing, but if they're not going to listen to you, then they have to go out into the world and experience that. And then the worst thing you can do is to go and save them when they get into trouble.
Well, that's what I did. I told her to go to the school, to admit what she did and take the consequences, because she just,
Right.
I felt that a lack of empathy, and I'm
Right.
like, there's a piece missing here, and
I would
I'm
allow the
just,
school. Yeah, I would allow the school to handle that, right? Let your daughter experience that consequence. This
which
is
she did, right?
right. And then if she wants to talk with you about it and talk to her, about that and about dealing with the consequence and how, listen, this is the real world. If you're going to be a certain type of way, then people will eventually leave you. This is where we deal. This is what is happening with narcissistic abuse. These people go around, they do whatever they want, no empathy, no care, no concern. And at some point you leave them, you separate from them. And everybody looks at the narcissist as having a great life. They don't. They're going to be left by everybody. Nobody's going to
Right.
put up with that nonsense for they may have a good time right now, but it's going to catch up with them, right? And at some point, it just is. It's inevitable. And so the best thing you could do is to let the consequences don't the longer you protect people from consequences in life, which is what we do with narcissists. They ridicule, criticize, call you names, spit on you, cuss you out. And what people don't realize is by staying involved with them and giving them what they want, you're enabling the abuse. You're basically telling them, "Oh, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have empathy, but that's okay. That's okay. I love
No,
you.
it's not.
I love you with this unconditional love." And listen, and it sounds great, and you can still have unconditional love as a parent, right? You want the best for your daughter, but unconditional love doesn't mean enabling. Unconditional love means, you know, I don't stand by what you're doing, and I'm going to have boundaries in this house. And if you have to start taking away things in the house that she's using in order to abuse people, maybe her computer, maybe that she's on bullying people online, and maybe it happens to be on a computer that you bought for her, I would shut that thing down, pull the cord, get it out of there. You're not going to be bullying people on Facebook on something I buy for you, because that makes me an accomplice. That makes me an accomplice to your cruelty, to your narcissistic criminality. I'm not going to be a part of that, right? So you have more authority in the situation than you think. And if she wants to get real bold as a 17-year-old and say, "Well, fine, well, I'm going to run away and this and whatever," you have to have boundaries in place, right? Because this is going to be a place, it's going to be an exercise in life. She's going to test you. I don't know what she saw her dad get away with you, but it's going to be a test, right? It's going to come
Yeah,
down
and
to
he's
your
on the
strength.
same page as her. That oh, it's a joke. It was, and he doesn't get it, and he's missing that piece. I'm saying, is this hereditary? I mean, we divorced when she was 3 years old.
Well, it's hard. It is right, and it's hard because did she have another male role model in her life, a healthy male role model?
Well, like I said, I dated a narcissist for about 7 years on and off. So
Right. So she's
she wasn't
seen.
very close with him. She saw through him. Yeah.
Well, but children are very observant, so I'm sure she's seen more than you would ever like to admit that she's seen. She's probably seen you and the boyfriend doing whatever. It just happens, and so she witnessed a lot of it, and that's unfortunate. But at the same time, she needs to know that that's not the way to live life. Becoming a person doing this antisocial behavior, and that's what it is. It's very antisocial behavior. It's, I'm going to do this because of the laughs I'm going to get. But
Right.
with this antisocial behavior, if boundaries are not put in place, it gets very dangerous very fast. You've got kids that they can go to a bridge and dare the other to throw bricks off of a bridge onto oncoming traffic on a freeway. And it sounds ridiculous, but this is absolutely a true
Yeah.
story of antisocial behavior. They do it because it sounds funny. Watch this brick, I'm going to throw it off a bridge. And they throw this thing off, and it goes through the windshield of somebody driving a car. All it takes is that once. And so this is why it is so important that you nail down these boundaries right now, and you let it know, no, this stops. You don't mess around with people. You just don't, um, not in that
Do
way.
you think therapist or psychiatry would be helpful for me? Because I really don't have. I mean, I'm devastated. This is. I don't want her to have a life like this.
Right.
Her. Mm,
The problem is that she's going to have to, yes, counseling and therapy can work, right? But, and there's that big but in there, it has to be when she wants it, not when you. Because trust me, I was, I was in that place when I was younger, and my mom was dragging me around to therapy and counseling and this and that for different things, right? And mainly it
mm,
was because my mom was having a difficult time with abusive relationships. And so she was under the impression that it affected us all, and it did affect us all, right? But, she's not going to receive any counseling or therapy until she's at a place where she realizes, oh my gosh, I need help. And the unfortunate thing about that is it's going to take something tragic or devastating or a certain amount of trouble in her life to where she has nowhere else to go. And everything is so upside down that she has no other choice. That's when counseling and therapy will work. But until that happens, if it's as bad as you're saying it's leading up to be, the best you can do is set boundaries. It's the best you can do. That type of stuff, set boundaries for your home.
yeah, it's a tough situation. I told her that the school said that you need counseling just because she wouldn't go if it wasn't part of the not the punishment, but the whatever she needed to take consequences for. And so
Right.
I put it on school because I desperately she desperately needs to
Have you
know this is.
have you talked to her about counseling?
Yeah, I did.
And what's the response?
She's like, well, I don't know. It's a joke. I don't have to go to counseling. I said, well, the school requires it. You did something that was
S-
no tolerance.
Right. So
And
I would do this in this situation. You brought it up to her. I would tell her now, okay, I'm not going to ask you again. I'll go to the school and tell them that you're not going to do it. Right? Well, first affirm with
mm-hmm,
her. Are you saying you're not going to do it? Are you See, this is kind of what we have to deal with these personalities, right? We have to be very straightforward, very matter of fact. They hate it. They're going to fight you and they're going to give you the
mm-hmm,
runaround, but you've got to nail them down to yes or no answer. Do you want to go to counseling and therapy? Yes or no? Are you going to go? I'm not going to drag you. I'm not going to carry you. Are you going to go? No, I'm not going to go. Okay, well, then I'm going to have to tell your school that you're not going to go to counseling. Then tell the school she's not going to counseling. And the school may say, well, she's not welcome back in class. Okay, see, we got to allow these people to experience just sitting at
experience gun. Yep.
exactly. It's
Mm-hmm,
the consequence. And then let her go to
exactly.
school and then let the proctors of the school walk her off, right? She's got to get to this place where she's knows that she's not going to have a savior as long as she keeps on these jokes and messing up with these jokes, with this lifestyle of, well, it's funny whatever I do to other people. The worst thing is to bring in this, well, we'll save it and fix it. We have to show them that there's no fix for that. You have to find your way out. You have to fight your way out of being this one type of person that wants to bring harm to other people. You've got to fight your way out of that. You have to see that it's a dead end. And the earlier you see that that's a dead end in life, the more chance she's going to have later on. But if you allow for anything to come in and save the situation for her, then she'll never learn. Do you follow me
Oh
on that?
no. Yeah,
Okay.
I do follow you, and that is definitely not something I'm willing to do.
Right.
I'm not going to allow her to continue. That's just not an option here.
Okay.
But I just thought I need to share it because it's just devastating.
It's hard. It's hard. I know.
All right. Well, thanks again. Your advice is great. I do appreciate everything you do.
And how are you? I mean, how are you emotionally in all of this?
How am I? Well, I am seeking counseling for my trauma
Okay, good.
because,
Good. I would throw this in
and
there too. I really would.
mhm,
I feel like you're seeking counseling for your trauma, and you're calling because of this to talk to me about this. So, this is a pressing issue on your heart. So, be able to talk about this, right? And be encouraged and strengthened and get your affirmation because this can really emotionally wear you down, you know?
absolutely.
All right. And it's
Okay.
all righty. Thank you for calling.
Thanks so much. Yep.
Hmm.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
That's turn that back down. That's always hard dealing with when you have children in this day and age with everything they're exposed to, and it's very hard. And to see this and to witness this going on. We have a call from Florida. Thank you for calling. You're live on the Royal We.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm so happy that I made it on.
Good, good. I'm glad you did too. You're from, it says, from Florida. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, well, I actually live in Michigan, but I did live
Okay.
in Florida, so
Okay. Okay. Well, what's going on?
um, so I'm calling because I was with my ex-narc for a little over 4 years. And like a lot of people, I didn't realize it until after I got out of the situation. Unfortunately, it ended in a domestic violence against me. So that was hard, and that happened first week of November. So it's been a little over 3 months now. And so we went through a bunch of court stuff with that, and he tried twisting the story, saying that it was all my fault, all of these things.
Are you guys married? Was this a marriage or dating?
No, we were dating.
Okay.
So he completely twisted everything that I've said.
Right.
And I mean, there was evidence of what had happened. I had marks on me, so it wasn't me making up a false accusation. And he was found guilty.
Okay.
And he's now on probation. And unfortunately, we do share assets. We did buy a house together, that type of thing. We do have a car together. It's my car. I paid for it, but being stupid, I put both of our names on it. But he's been making just a bunch of threats, and even through the domestic violence part, he would sit there and just laugh at me in court and smirk and smile and make all of these threats that he's going to put me in jail.
Right.
I guess trying to get a reaction out of me.
Well, yes and no. Yes, get a reaction, but two, these people always say what they intend to do. For the most part, most narcissists, psychopaths, sociopaths, whatever you want to call them, when you listen to them, they'll tell you exactly what's going on in their head and what they can and are willing and will most likely try to do. Right? And it can get very scary. It can range from I'm going to put you to jail to I'm going to kill you. And you never know when you're dealing with these types of individuals, right? And so it's my suggestion would be to get out of any mutual ownership of anything you have with this person, as fast as you possibly can, right?
Yeah. So that's kind of where my real question comes in. I've been the one to initiate that through, a lawyer, because there is a no contact order in place.
Right.
And he is making sure that he won't sign. He's refusing to sign all of these things. And my question is, why am I viewed as like the enemy? Like he looks at me and talks around me
because you
like
are.
I am the number one worst person in this world, and I just don't understand like why I am being treated this way when all I did was love him beyond what I should have, in a sense. Like, I just don't get what's going through his mind. I feel like he's purposely doing this. He wants me to suffer and will do anything he can to make me suffer.
He does want you to suffer. He does want you to suffer.
I guess.
And so here's the thing, right? And I understand the pain because I and you're in a community of people who we're all clawing to try to understand this. Okay, where is this hate? Here's what I can tell you: the hate has nothing to do with you. All right, the hate, the anger, the sense of entitlement has nothing to do with you. It's not your fault. You just happen to get stuck in his tractor beam. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you're, I don't know, Star Trek out there in space, and threw out the tractor beam and boom, got you in it and just started sucking you into his world with all of the love bombing and the fake I love you and this and that, which is meaningless. It doesn't mean anything to these people. They don't love you. What they say when they love you is they love what you can do for them and how you can make them feel. You know, you take them away from their anger and their pain and their misery when you're giving them sex, when you're feeding them, when you're doing whatever it is that you're doing with him. You're taking him away from the reality of that monster that he, you know what I mean, that these people kind of live with. Their, you know what I mean, their anger, their frustration. And the moment you turn and go, whoa, wait a minute, something's wrong here. Did you just touch me? You just hit me? You're that? Then all of a sudden they're like, uh-oh. Well, yeah, I am. What are you going to do about it? I am. I don't care about you. I'm going to put you away. I'll get rid of you. I'll get rid of you. Right? Now you're seeing that who they really are. Right? Who it is they're trying to run from. Who it was they're trying to run from. He was trying to run from when he met you. And so, you know, and it's not necessarily these people don't show those signs, because they do, but it's so hard when you're caught up in the love bombing and the flirting or whatever. It's hard to see all that, but it's there, right? And so now you're in the thick of it, and you sense that hate. You're seeing all that hate, and you're like, where did this come from? It was always there. You were just an escape for the moment. You were a shiny new toy. You know what calms a kid down when they're restless and angry and throwing things and mad and angry? Take them shopping, buy them a new shiny toy, right? They'll be good for a day. That's not the way you parent, by the way. That's not what you're supposed to do, because that breeds the entitlement. That makes them constantly need something to, right? And so this is kind of the same thing, right? I know you thought it was really love, but really you were the shiny new object that was the escape from the anger and the frustration. And now that you're on your way out, trying to get out, it's like someone taking a toy from a child that they thought belonged to them. Again, narcissists objectify people, right? So you everybody in the community, you have to remember this: narcissists objectify you. Last night I read a email or a text, not a text. It was a comment on another video where the girl explained in one of the comments on one of my videos. She basically said, you know, it's not her fault. You know, you were basically saying you didn't like the puppy parks that she was taking you to, and so she jerked your chain. It's the perfect image. What she's saying is that narcissists, they feel like they own you. You do become their shiny new possession. You do become their pet. They do have you on a leash. And when you show the strength that you're breaking free because you are not anybody's pet, you're not some shiny new toy, they're freaking out. Like a little kid when they get their toy taken away. And all of a sudden they're going to make threats and I hate you. And I'm going to do this. And they throw their other stuff. And they may actually come, because it's scarier because they're adults doing this. Right?
Yeah.
A temper tantrum's, when it's a 3-year-old, oh, okay. That's, you know, okay, go calm down, Junior. Go in your room. Okay. But when you're dealing with someone in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and they're throwing that temper tantrum, that's when people get hurt. Arms get twisted. You know, necks get choked out. Weapons get picked up. Right. And so you have to take this stuff seriously. Right. And I know that it's a lot to process when your question is just, why is there all this hate? and why is it like you did something wrong? And the reality is you became that shiny new object, and now that shiny new object is no longer a possession, and that's what's wrong to them. And I know it's hard to wrap your mind around that because we don't think of it like that, but that's what happens.
Yeah, I know I've really struggled lately with asking myself, as weird as it sounds, like, am I the narc? Like, because I've watched videos and I've done a lot of research in the last 3 months, and I've seen other people who have been abused in that situation ask the same thing, because there's moments where I think back where I may have lost it. And I'm trying to tell myself it was because I was being abused, and that was how it just kind of bottled up, and that's how it came out. But I just don't understand why I feel so, like, guilty, or why I'm asking myself that.
Well, because you never imagined you'd be in that situation, right? Having to call the cops, having to impose these penalties on people. This is not something you go into a relationship saying, well, I want to try this out, right? So, especially if it's something you've never done before, you're going to walk out going, did I do the right thing? What just happened? What did I just cause? And this is a part of standing up for yourself. Standing up for yourself is never going to be, it's never going to feel easy, but you have to do it because you have to put your life at some point, you have to put your life first. You have to protect yourself, right? And so this is why it feels awkward. We've been kind of sheltered and lived in this bubble. A lot of us feel, and I try my best when I talk to people over the phone to get that point across of how serious we have to take it. We don't live in the society where let's just hang out with whoever we want and do things and sprinkle some heaven and some love and let's just have love for everybody. It's a nice idea and everything, but the reality is you never know who you're going to get involved with, and we should be taking the world a little bit more seriously. And when we get involved in relationships, we should be taking it serious enough to really get to know who and what we're dealing with long before we bring them into the bedroom or into our homes, right? And it's hard. We're awakening to that, and it's a shift. It's a shift in the way you view the world, right? And make no mistake about it, you're going to be fighting it, right? You don't want to have to look at the world with more awareness, right? We kind of are raised to believe, well, just look at the good in everybody. Well, okay, but then you get in situations like this, and this is a result of looking at for the good in somebody. And as you saw, the abuse got progressive and worse and worse and worse, not because you were doing anything wrong, but because you were looking at the good for the good. Does this make sense? So
Yeah.
we're reversing and we're deconstructing all of this bad information that we got that completely tells us and teaches us not to stand up for ourselves, not to protect ourselves, protect our values, protect our morals, protect our integrity. Instead, it says, well, just go out and look for the best in everybody and do whatever you want. This is why we have girls in church and Christians who get involved with these guys and go have sex within a couple of weeks. They forget their integrity, forget their morals, right? Because it's just part of, well, let's just do it. And then wonder why months later they're getting hit on or beat on, and they had no business being in that relationship. And this is what I'm talking about. And it's not girls only, guys too. Guys get lured out from their integrity, from some hot mess that comes walking along. And before they know it, they're left brokenhearted, robbed, no money. So it's happening all across the spectrum. And it the reality is it's just this eye-opening experience where we have to look at the world differently. We have to admit to ourselves and understand that this exists. These people, this personality disorder, call it narcissistic abuse, sociopathic, psychopathic, it's real. It surrounds you. And so what are you going to do? You have to do what you can to protect yourself. You have to keep one eye open. You have to be very cautious about who you allow in your life. Right? And you want to fight that because that's not how we've been living, if that makes sense. So it's easy to
Yeah.
want to fight that, and it creates this tension inside of you. That's cognitive dissonance, by the way. That's cognitive dissonance where you want to believe, no, I know the world's good. I know people are good. I know this guy is good. That's cognitive dissonance because the facts, the reality is showing you different as he's twisting your arm, swinging at you, laughing at you in court, telling you that he's going to put you in jail. You're experiencing a different reality than what your mind has always told you about the world. That's cognitive dissonance. Very painful, but look at it as like you're in a cocoon and you're about to come out as a butterfly, right? In one place you were sheltered, but soon you're going to be kind of flying high above this, and you're going to be able to see this stuff for what it really is. I hope that makes sense to you.
It does, and I really appreciate this channel and everybody on here. Like you said, I never thought that I would be in this position, and I'm thankful that in a sense, I wasn't married with no kids. It was only 4 years,
Right.
whereas some people have been in these situations, for 20 plus years.
That's right.
But I just really appreciate all the support, and that, you have really been a real lifesaver to me. And I don't know what I would be doing if I didn't have your channel to help me get through each day.
Well, thank you. Thank you for calling. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
You too. Have a good night. All right, guys. Well, we're going to be wrapping up the show. It's 10:40, so we're about 10 minutes over. I want to thank you guys so much for being a part of the Royal We Live tonight. And I do want to keep the time more consistent from 10 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time to 10:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we'll go ahead and make that the last phone call. And like I said, thank you guys so much for being here on your Tuesday night. If you did not get in on the phone tonight, you can call tomorrow. We'll be here tomorrow, live 10 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. So be here and you can make that phone call. Also, if you are interested, the Royal We course is available for you. You can find out more about the course in the link below in the description box. So simply open up the description box and click that link, and the course will open up for you. It'll take you to the page, and you can see if the course is for you. It will definitely share with you the heart of the Royal We of where I'm taking the healing and understanding. It's on acceptance, and it's also modular, so it's going to grow in time to include more things. So that being said, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Blue. I see you, Blue. Thank you for your help tonight as a moderator. Also, just to let you know one more time, if you are interested in being a moderator, which allows you access to be able to help more people here, then email me at jointheroyalwe@gmail.com. I'm sorry, it's not. Yeah, once again, it's jointheroyalwe@gmail.com. Okay, guys? Thank you so much. Have a great Tuesday night, and we'll see you tomorrow night right here on the Royal We Live.